Hello and welcome to a new lesson of Conversation 2. Today's lesson is, could I speak to Joe? Could I please speak to Joe? So basically in today's lesson, we will learn how to speak on the phone. When you are making a phone call, how do you start the conversation on the phone? Before we get to the text, here we have some notes to consider. It says, almost everyone who has a cell phone uses text messaging. Text messages use abbreviations. Abbreviations means shortened words. The message above says, now, do you see the message here in the cell phone? If you read it, it would be like what are and you as a letter, and then DON2DAY. This will be very confusing if you are not familiar with the abbreviations for some words. Okay, so this message basically says, what are you doing today? What are you doing today? Okay, so abbreviations is just a shortened form of the word or the phrase. Okay, basically, it usually takes the initials, first letters of a word, or the letters that are actually pronounced in the word, and then they're just written. Okay, let's go straight to the text. Okay, here we go. We have Joe and we have Hong An. Okay, so we have two people in this conversation, in half of the conversation, and then we have Mrs. King. I believe she's Joe, his mother or something. Okay, so here we go. Hello, could I speak or could I please speak to Joe? Speaking. Hi, Joe. This is Hong An. Listen, I'm having a party at my place this Friday night. Are you free? Sure. What time? Anytime after 8. Great. See you Friday then. Okay. Now the person calls again, Hong An. He calls again, but this time Joe doesn't answer the phone. No, Mrs. King. She answers the phone. Hello. Hi, Mrs. King. Is John there, please? I'm sorry, he is not here right now. Could I take a message? Yes, please. I'm calling to tell him there's a party at my place on Friday and just a moment, let me get a pen. All right, go ahead. Okay, this is Hong An Lee and my number is 312-364-40107. Could you ask John to call me? Sure, I'll give him the message as soon as he gets in. Now, let's just check some vocabulary here, okay, and expressions that were used in the conversation. So here we have abbreviations. Okay, so abbreviations means a shortened form of a word or a phrase. For example, the word Saturday is a full form of the word, and when it is abbreviated, it's shortened. We say SAT. We write it as SAT. Okay, in a text message, or sometimes even when we are writing a schedule for the school or something. So Saturday becomes SAT. So SAT is the abbreviated word. So this is an abbreviation of Saturday. Sunday, sun. Personal computer, we say PC. This is a shortened form. For your information, FYI. Okay, so this we call these abbreviations. Okay, shortened form of the word. Okay, then we have in the text, they said at my place. I'm having a party at my place. At my place means at my house. So normally native speakers would say at my place rather than saying at my house, at my place, okay? And then they also said at any time after 8, at any time after 8. So they did not set a specific time, for example, 8:30 or 9:30, or so they said at any time. That means any time after 8, not before 8. You can come at 8:30, 8:15, 8:45, it's fine. Just do not come before 8, okay? Anytime after 8. And then in the conversation, Mrs. King said, go ahead, go ahead. This phrase means to start. When I say go ahead, that means you start or begin doing or saying something, okay? To proceed with something. For example, you can read chapter 1 of the book. Go ahead. That means you can start reading. Go ahead. Okay. And then Mrs. King also said, let me get a pen. Okay. Now, usually when you call someone, the receiver of the call, especially when the person who picked up the phone or answered your call is not the person you are looking for. Okay. It's someone else. In that case, the person might need to take a message. Okay. So they might say, let me get a pen. Let me bring a pen. Okay, let me get a pen. It means let me bring a pen so I can write the note or the message that you're going to give me. They can also say, let me grab a pen and a paper. Okay, so this is informal. So they might say, let me grab a pen and a paper. Okay, so to write a note or the message you're going to give me. And these are some more abbreviations used in text messages, like a GF, girlfriend. We have HAK, hugs and kisses. Sometimes they also use XOXO, which basically means the same. Okay, I see. So these are just abbreviations. I will not go through them all. You can just revise them later on. Okay, let me go straight down here. Now, asking to speak to someone. Now, let's say you are calling someone, the phone is ringing. This is how you start the conversation. You would say, hello, hi, could I speak, or could I please speak to, and then you name the person. Could I please speak to Joe? Okay, you can also say, is Joe there? Now, this is informal, but we can say, is Joe there, please? Okay. You can also say, may I, or can I, instead of saying could, you can say, may I please, okay? You can use them interchangeably. You can use may or can instead of could, okay? Now, the person that receives the call, if it's the person you are calling, they might say speaking, speaking, okay? For example, I would say, could I please speak to Joe? The other person on the phone, they might say speaking. That means, this is Joe. You can talk to me. I am the person you are looking for, okay? Or they can say, hi, this is Joe, okay? This is Joe. All right. Now the receiver might say, sure. If the receiver is not the person you are looking for, maybe his mother or his father or someone else from the family members, yeah, they might receive the call. I might say, sure, just a moment, please. Just a minute, please. Or they might say, hold on a moment, please. I will get him or I will get her. That means I will go and call for him or her, the person you are calling for. They might say, hold on. That means wait. Okay, so just stay on the phone until I go and get them, get the person. Okay, so let's move on. Now this is offering to take a message. If you want to offer the person, the caller, to take a message, what would you say? So the caller would say, hi, could I speak to John, for example? You can say, I'm sorry, he's not here right now. So at this time, he's not here, he's out. He's out of the house, he's out of the office. It doesn't matter, okay? Could I take a message or can I take a message? This is how you offer someone to take a message. Can I or could I take a message? That means if you want to tell me something so I can tell the other person when he's back or when they return, it's fine. So you can say, yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah, that means I will give you the message and you can just tell the other person what I'm gonna say to you. Or you can say, no, thanks, I'll call back later. No, thanks, I'll call back later. That means it's okay, I will call back later. Maybe it's something important and you don't want to tell the other person about it. So you can just say, no, thanks, I'll call back later. Okay. Taking a message in, now, as I said, when the person offers taking a message, they would say, can I or could I take a message? Okay. They might also say, just a moment, let me get a pen or grab a pen and a paper. They might say, go ahead. Okay, go ahead. That means give me the message now. Okay, you can say this, yes, please. And then you say your name, your phone number. Okay, and maybe you can also give the reason for your call, like what do you want to tell the person, or you can simply say, please tell that person to call me or to call me back. Okay, for example, here they said this is Hong An Lee, his name, and then they mentioned his phone number. Okay, could you ask John to call me? Just tell when he's back home, just tell him to call me. That's it. Okay. The receiver of the call said, sure, I'll give him the message as soon as he gets in. As soon as he gets in means arrive. To get in a place, that means to arrive. Okay, so that means when he's home, when he arrives home, I will give him the message. Okay. Let's see what else do we have. Okay, now let's just go to some more explanation that I have made. Now let's say here we have the caller and this is the receiver. Okay, so the caller obviously is the person who starts the call. The receiver is the person who answers the phone, okay, or picks up the phone. Now the receiver doesn't necessarily have to be the person you are calling for. It might be some other member of the family or maybe a total stranger, especially if it's a public place, like maybe a hotel, let's say, or an office, or where a lot of people are just in that place. Okay. Now, asking to speak to someone on the phone. Now, let's say you are the caller. Now, these are possible questions you can start with. You can just say, hello, could I speak to, and you name the person, you say, please. Could I speak to John, please? May I speak to John, please? Can I speak to John, please? It's fine, you can use these. Or you can say, is John there, please? Is John there, please? You can also state your name. You say who you are and you say who you are calling for. So you can say, hello, this is Jonathan calling for John Miller. So this is Jonathan, that means my name is, or I am Jonathan, and I'm calling for John Miller. I'm looking for John Miller. Okay. Now these are possible responses or answers from the receiver of the call. Now, if the person himself or herself, they pick up the phone, that means you are looking for John and John picks up the phone. So he might say, John is speaking, or this is him, or speaking, just speaking, okay? Now you might call and say, hello, could I speak to John, please? And then John picks up the phone and he says, John is speaking, or speaking, that means speaking, this is John, the one you are looking for. Or he might say, this is him, or her, if it's a girl, okay? Now, after the phone is answered, let's say the phone is answered, okay? What happens is you introduce yourself. You say who you are, okay? You say who you are. You say, hello, this is, for example, this is Jonathan. Hi, John, this is Jonathan. I'm having a party or a birthday party at my place, okay, or at my house. Next weekend or this Friday, you name the time. Are you free? Or you can also say, would you like to come? Would you like to come? Okay, are you free or would you like to come? Now, John might say, sure, why not? What time? You might say, sure, why not? What time? Or I'd love to, I'd love to, I would love to. What time? They're asking for the time now. You can just simply say at 8:30 or any time after 8:30. You just name the time, okay? Now let's go here and see if the person who answers the phone is not the person you are looking for, it's another person. Let's say a stranger or another family member, they pick up the phone, okay? So the phone is ringing and the person says, hello, you say hello. This is Jonathan calling for John Miller. Or could I speak to John, please? Now the other person on the phone, they might say, hello, can I ask who is calling? Can I ask who's calling? Or I'm sorry, who's this? Or who's speaking? They want to know who you are, okay? Now, if the person is not there, you are calling and the person is not there, this is what they might say. They might say, I'm sorry, he's not here now, or she is not here now. They might say, I'm afraid he's not here, or he's not available at the moment, okay? Or they might say, sorry, he's not in. He's not in means he's not in today. If it's an office, maybe it's he works in an office and you call the office, so they might say he's not in. That means he's not in the office or he's not at home. Okay, so he's not in. He's out to that place you just called. Okay. Now the person might offer to take a message. They can say, can I take a message or could I take a message? Okay. You can say, yes, please, if you want. This is Jonathan Smith and my number or my phone number is, you give them your phone number. And then you can say, could you ask John to call me back, please? Could you ask him to call me back, please? Or could you tell John that I am having, you can give the reason for your call, okay? You can tell them, why are you calling? Or you can just say, no thanks, I'll call back later, okay? No thanks, I'll call back later, okay? That means you don't have to tell them any information, just your name and your phone number, and that's it, okay? And this one I mentioned already, the person might say, just a moment, let me get a pen or grab a pen and a paper, okay? So they are ready to take your message, okay? Now, if the person you called is in, okay, if the person you called is in the place you called at home or at the office, you can say, could I speak to John, please? Now, if he is there, the receiver of the call, they might say, yes, he's in. I will go get him or get her. That means I will go and call for them, okay? They might say, yes, he's here. He will be with you in a minute. That means he might be a little bit busy, but just wait for a minute or so, and they will be with you. Okay, so he will be with you in a minute or shortly. Shortly, that means just a few minutes or a few seconds. Shortly. You can also say, I'm not sure. Let me check if he's here, or let me check if he's in, or let me check if he's available. Okay, I'm not sure, but just stay on the phone, just hold on, a few seconds or a few moments, and I will go and check the person you are looking for is there. Okay. Now, if they ask you, for example, if they say, "Who are you?" or "and you are," this is very informal. They could say, "Yes, he's here. Who should I or who shall I say is calling?" That means who's the person asking for them, so I can tell them. Okay, and this is especially when you are working or when you are at work at the office. Okay, you can just say, "Yes, tell him or her it's Jonathan from work or from school or from the gym." So it depends, okay, where the person knows you from. How do you know the person? Do you know them from work or from school? You can just say, "Yes, tell him it's," and then you name your name, you say your name, and then you mention the place, how do you know them, okay? Now the person might say, "Okay, or all right, Mr. Jonathan, please hold on a second or a moment." Just hold on, that means just wait, okay? All right, so basically this is it for today's lesson. Now you can always remember how to ask on the phone. When you call someone, this is basically the form how you ask. Could I speak to, or may I speak to, or can I speak to? It's totally fine to use these interchangeably, or you can say is that person there, is Jonathan, is Maria there, is Ali there, and so on. Okay, I hope you find this useful, and I'll see you next time on another lesson. Okay, thank you for watching.